The use of drones was questioned in a late-night filibuster, the Attorney General confirming in a letter to Senator Paul Rand that the president does not have the authority to kill average Americans within the country. Going to talk about all of this with Senator Ron Wyden. He's a Democrat from Oregon. He serves on the Intelligence Committee and other committees as well. Nice to have you, sir. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me back.
Let's begin with Suleiman Abu Gaith, who is now charged with conspiring to kill Americans. Earlier this morning, we were talking to Fran Townsend about sort of the value of a military tribunal versus bringing him into New York City in a federal court. And she said that she thought that that was less relevant than the way he was brought in, that it was very purposeful. Do you have any idea what she might mean, that you know, having him sort of moved around and then brought into the United States seemed to her to raise some red flags?
I can't get into classified matters, Soledad, but let's get to the bottom line. The federal prosecutors have a tremendous batting average in these kinds of cases. In fact, their batting record is better than these military tribunals. And what we need is, number one, take the fight to al-Qaeda. And number two, when we capture people, we want to make sure that these are going to be people who get prosecuted and end up in these supermax facilities behind bars where the American people are going to be safe from them.
So then you don't think, is there any valuable information that's been gleaned from him, right? I mean, one of the things that Fran was telling us was that the amount of time that has passed, right? He's been basically out of the country and out of sort of the loop. There's probably not that much valuable intel that can be gotten from him. Then what is the quality of this capture?
I think it's an extremely important capture. We're going to be going into this on the Intelligence Committee, but right now we're going to have a debate in this country about whether someone like this ought to be, in effect, prosecuted in a military tribunal like at Gitmo or in the federal courts. And I just want viewers to understand that they have a high batting average, these federal prosecutors. What the American people want are tough, effective approaches to make sure that these terrorists are dealt with, that they are behind bars, locked away for the rest of their lives. That's what we're going to get.
Senator, it's Howard Kurtz. What's unusual here is that we have somebody captured alive from al-Qaeda in this era of targeted drones. Mostly we kill these people when we can. You crossed party lines to join Senator Rand Paul in that filibuster, slowing up John Brennan's nomination because you were concerned about drones. I know you think you made your point. You must have gotten a lot of blowback from your fellow Democrats in joining with conservative Rand Paul.
Not too much, Howard, because I think there is a sense that there is a new political movement emerging in our country, and it crosses party lines, and it is all about Americans who want to see policymakers strike a better balance between protecting our security and protecting our liberty. And certainly over the last few weeks, Americans have seen that there is a sharp difference between protecting secret intelligence operations and not keeping our laws, which are public, secret. And that's the kind of information we've gotten out. And I also like to note that as part of those negotiations over getting those documents, I insisted that the Obama administration answer those questions Rand Paul was asking, because I and others have been asking him as well.
There was an answer. The Attorney General, Eric Holder, sent a letter. Part of that letter reads like this: "It's come to my attention that you have now asked for an additional question. Does the president have the authority to use a weaponized drone to kill an American not engaged in combat on American soil?" This is to Rand Paul, of course. The answer to that question is no. Sincerely, Eric H. Holder. That was yesterday in a letter. So when you read that and the rest of the contents of the letter, are you satisfied with that answer now?
Yes, and here's the distinction, Soledad. What we had essentially been trying to flesh out is to make sure that a non-combatant, Senator Paul and I would talk about somebody who was sitting in a coffee shop, say in the Pacific Northwest, that person was not going to face a drone attack. What, in effect, Eric Holder has said, if you're talking about something like preventing another Pearl Harbor, an imminent kind of threat, a 9/11, you can use military force to repel a foreign invasion. So now we have been able to establish the distinction between a non-combatant here in the United States and something that is along the lines of 9/11 that threatens the survival of our country.
But in that letter, is John Berman here, Senator, did he distinguish what not engaged in combat means? Do you feel that still gives the administration, any White House, a tremendous amount of discretion?
I don't. I think we gave enough examples in these kinds of discussions. I asked about it as well in the public hearings. So we got these documents over, in effect, winning a 2-year battle. I had requested these documents 7 times over 2 years, so a lot of these issues were aired, and I was very glad that on a bipartisan basis, and that was why I went to the floor during Rand Paul's filibuster, to make sure that the country saw that this new political force, sometimes I call ourselves the checks and balances movement, where we say the president has tremendous power in the national security arena, but it is not unfettered power. And I think while we've got a lot more to dig into in terms of looking at these previously secret documents, we've made a lot of headway now.
Senator Ron Wyden joining us this morning. Thank you, Senator. Nice to have you with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.